Hello, wonderful people. This is Tom Check with Choice Coaching, where we help you unlock your inner awesome. And today, just want to take a moment to talk a little bit about something that I get asked a lot. What is a life coach anyway? How do I know if I need one? Etc. So the way that I like to frame this is kind of, first off, is what life coaches are, and then what life coaches aren't. First off, we believe in the people that we coach. We believe not only that they are amazing, wonderful people, but that they are capable of change and that they will create the change that they most need in their lives. So whether you're a business coach, a life coach, a fitness coach, a nutrition coach, whatever financial coach, whatever kind of coach you are, you believe in the capacity for the people you work with to create meaningful, positive change in their lives. This is really important because a lot of times we as individuals, we as humans, don't always believe in ourselves. And we forget how capable we are. And so one of the things that a life coach does is they provide some backup when it comes to that belief. And they say, you know what? You are awesome. You can do this. Another thing that life coaches are is action-oriented. We are happy to talk, but we know that talking only gets so far. Action is where rubber meets the road. So we generally give you exercises to do. We've got skills training that we're going to put you through. We've got this idea that you should be doing stuff in order to make your situation better. That's important. We're action-oriented. This isn't just a sit and talk session. This is a sit, talk, figure out what needs to happen next. Go do it. Next time we talk, you should have done it and we'll figure out where to go next. So we're action-oriented. We believe in you. We're also often very skills-oriented. And I think this is often really important. You shouldn't work with a coach probably for the rest of your life. It's not like a therapy kind of relationship. You should be gaining skills, and that can take a while. I'm not saying that this is necessarily going to be a short engagement, but this isn't a forever engagement. At some point, you've got enough skills to create the life you want, to create the outcomes and the lived experience that you desire. When you get to that point, it's time to stop working with a coach and probably time to continue using the skills and sharpening the saw and doing your own personal development, but maybe without that helper. So we're skills-oriented. We are big believers in you. We are action-oriented. And we also care an awful lot about helping you get clear on what it is you want. What is the goal? That's a really important thing when you work with a coach. If I was working with like a golf coach, I would need to know what I wanted to accomplish before they can help me get anything. And it's no different with a life coach. If I show up and I say something really vague, like I want to be happy, the coach is going to take some time to help me figure out what that means. How do you measure happy? How would you know if you got it? What are the way markers, the waypoints on the path to happiness that would let you know that you're going the right direction? What else is involved in happiness? Outside of you, what relationships do you need? What type of work? What type of stability and freedom and all of these things? What types of values do you want to live up to for yourself? Rarely do we as coaches care what other people think about you, what other people want for you. We care about what you want for yourself. That's what we care about. So we work really hard to help you get clear on what it is you want and to help you see yourself clearly enough to be able to identify how big of a gap there is between where you are and where you want to be. And that's where we step in with those skills. So those are the basics of the things we are. We're often also forward thinking. We're always thinking about tomorrow. What can you do next? Where are you going? So that we can identify and work backwards to where you need to be focused today. But we're not necessarily as interested or as focused on the past. There's lots of really meaningful stuff in your past that can help you create meaningful change in your life. And sometimes we get to that stuff. But at the end of the day, that is, for us as coaches, that's an opportunity to clear up some of the junk that's holding you back from creating action moving forward. So we rarely explore the past for the past's sake. We always explore the past, if we're doing so, for the sake of where it's going to take you. So a couple of things that coaches are not. One, coaches are not miracle workers. Just because you hire a coach doesn't mean your life is going to change. And the coach, no matter how good they are, can't change your life for you. You already know this deep down, but sometimes we forget and we just want a quick fix. We want the answer. We want somebody else to fix the problem. And a coach can't do that for you. There is no magic pill that we can give you that'll make you live a better life. That's up to you. So coaches are not miracle workers. We're also not the people to call when you're in crisis or when you've got acute diagnoses like acute depression or anxiety. If you're having panic attacks every week when you get ready for work, a coach might be able to help you with that, but realistically, they're not the person you should call. If you're struggling with depression, the person you should call is a mental health care worker who can A, perhaps prescribe you something to get you out of that hump, and B, has a much deeper toolbox for dealing with those really explicit diagnoses. So we're not crisis workers, and we're not here to resolve things like depression or acute anxiety, suicidal tendency. Those kinds of things require a different type of helper. Another thing that coaches are not is covered by insurance most of the time. Unless your coach happens to also be a certified healthcare worker and they're billing you under that kind of business, coaching is not covered under almost any insurance. So this is something that you're going to have to pay for out of pocket. What that means is you've got to be pretty committed. This isn't something that is going to be easy for most people to afford out of pocket necessarily. You can't just write it off to insurance and say, well, I'll go through it for the next 20 sessions and not think twice about it. It's your skin in the game here. So it's something to be aware of, is that we don't generally accept insurance, and so it is coming out of your wallet. So those are a couple of things that coaches are and a couple of things that coaches aren't. Now, like I said, there's all different kinds of coaches. I'm a life coach. There are specific coaches that only work with executive leadership in corporations. There are specific coaches that only work on financial assistance and kind of figuring out how to help you sort out your finances. There are organization coaches. There are all different kinds of coaches. What I would highly recommend if you're thinking of hiring one is to interact with them in some way before you start paying, if at all possible. Now, many of us offer a little free conversation before you get started, kind of a get to know you, figure out if we vibe together. Not everybody does though, and if the coach you're thinking about hiring doesn't, find the content that they create. Most coaches are going to have a blog, or they create videos, or they run a podcast, something like that. Consume the content and see if you actually like the person that you think you're going to be signing up to coach with. Another thing is to identify what type of coaching are you after. A lot of coaches offer one-on-ones, but not all coaches do, where it's just you and the coach talking. Sometimes we offer group coaching, where it's you and a small group or even a big group of people, a cohort, that go through a series of sessions together. Some coaches only offer workshops or experiential activities where you take a weekend to go work in a small group with the coach, maybe as an adventure in the wilderness kind of thing. Every coach is going to be a little different about how they structure what they do and how they approach coaching. So check out their websites, get a call with them if you can, consume some of their content, and you can always reach out and say, hey, I've got some questions about what you do, how you do it, and what it would look like if I were to hire you. Let's hop on a 5-minute phone call to get these questions answered. At the end of the day, coaching, like any helper, your coach is somebody you have to enjoy being in relationship with. They're not there to be your friend. They're not there to be your bestie and tell you that everything's going to be okay. But you do have to be able to connect with them. And you do have to be able to listen to what they have to say and push yourself in their presence. And that requires a level of trust and likability that you're going to want to establish fairly early on. If you get off of that first phone call with your coach and you've got a bad taste in your mouth and you kind of go, why did I do this? This is not going to work. You're probably right. It's not going to work. And you should maybe consider checking out other coaches. So that's the bare bones of what a coach is, what a coach isn't, and what to look for as you consider stepping up into your first coaching experience. I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, I'd love to see them down in the comments. And always feel free to reach out to me personally. You can learn more about coaching with me if that's something you're interested in at choicecoaching.us. And you've got all sorts of information there and can schedule a short 30-minute call. With all that being said, stay awesome, and I look forward to connecting with you next time around.